And welcome to the Full Gear preview. I'm Adam Wilbourn from WhatCulture, joined by another Michael Sidgwick from WhatCulture to look ahead to this weekend's Full Gear pay-per-view. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. Where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review AEW Dynamite, but also AEW Collision, Raw, SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. Pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week complete with a quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Michael Sidgwick to look ahead to Full Gear this weekend. What are your overall thoughts?
Right. The show will be good. It will be long.
What's the AEW tagline, you say?
At least the match will be good. The show will be very good, great in places, too long, and you will feel the length of it when one match or another gets affected. This is what I say constantly, before and after. All of which is to say that this will change, and one could argue, accomplish nothing. Which might, depict it, position it as a bit of a waste of time. So that's my overall thoughts on Full Gear. I'm going to do two things here. One is have a rant. Two is establish a little format for how I'm going to approach this preview, okay? I established, imposed upon myself, rather, a rule about, I can't remember, maybe 1 or 2 years ago, where, like a lot of people, I was sick to a profound level of the constant tribalism. And it's not just the WWE fans in bad faith talking about AEW. I get almost more annoyed when it's the other side. Like people constantly talking about AEW. And I was guilty of this, hence why I've imposed a rule on myself. Is that, see, the do tell stories. You're wrong, actually. Of course they're wrong. They're talking in bad faith, or they're misinformed, or they're willfully ignorant, or whatever. I just got really sick of it. And I used to go back and think about or read my old stuff and think, God, I was always like writing in such a reactive, defensive way, trying to put points across. Like it was almost insecure, and I was addressing people who were never going to listen anyway.
Rising to the bait almost.
So I've tried really hard not to do that. So I'm not doing that. I'm not about to do that in response to WWE fans saying it's bad or whatever. I'm actually going to talk about very quickly. And again, if you're not on X, this must be rubbish audio. I'm sorry, but I feel like I have to do this because I'm going to make a broader point. I tweeted my thoughts on Dynamite yesterday, okay? And
I saw this.
Something to the effect of a 3-hour go-home show, allergic to promos, building a 4 to 5 hour pay-per-view is why it is what it is. It being AEW, it is what it is, being this sort of constant malaise, not the best numbers, not the most buzzed about product, doesn't really feel hot, And then in the replies, this must have got shared around some loser Discord or other, because you got a quote tweet, and then it must have got shared in some Discord or the AEW official Reddit or wherever, because it went ding 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 ding, quote tweet, reply of just people, freakazoids, taking the tweet so literally.
Michael, I think you'll find there was promos.
Yeah,
on
there were.
show.
Of course, there were. Right, Hangman Page cut a promo. Ricochet cut a promo. There were several backstage promos. And when I mean allergic to promos, I'm not saying that there were no promos.
No one came near a microphone on this show.
Yeah, I'm saying like there were no really effective, rousing promos that truly sold me on the idea of a match feeling special, worth paying a not like inexpensive amount of money for, right? There were promos. They just weren't good enough. They just felt a lot of the times like the thing you have to do, because it's a go-home show and it's a wrestling show. Like there's no real passion, no real thought, no real importance. And
Talking people into the building.
Yeah,
as the phrase
exactly.
goes.
Jesus Christ. I mean, this is 101, right? It's the most basic principle there is. So I know the listeners, viewers of this podcast, get it. That's why they come back to us. And I'm not addressing you guys. I'm having a little self-indulgent rant. Please permit me. I have tried hard, I think, to not do it too often, right? And then the responses just boggled the mind. It ranged from the usual, it's fine, shut up. Well, no, it isn't. Yeah, it is fine. That's a problem.
We know it can be better than fine.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Sorry,
I'm mid-rant, bro.
Sorry, you're winding me up now. Yeah,
I know.
I saw these replies and I got angry on your behalf.
So it ranged from shut up, it's fine, to why do we need promos? What? To the pancake waffles
Oh my God,
response.
this is the worst.
So if you don't, I've explained the lore of pancake waffles. There is a tweet that best sums up, best distills Twitter. Twitter is the only place where genuine sentences that make sense can get misinterpreted. Oh, I love waffles. Oh, so you hate pancakes. And then the quote is, no, bitch, that's a whole new sentence. So I got a lot of that in response to my tweet, and it was really, really, really irritating. Oh, so you want town hall WWE style promos? Or if you like promos, you don't want wrestling, there's another company for you. Oh yeah, that's what I'm about. I love WWE. I'm like Vladimir Kozlov. Like, Jesus Christ Almighty! I know I'm on the wrong platform. I know rationally, get off, don't engage. It's a complete waste of time. I know that if you somehow found a tool that would allow you to filter out any tweet that was sort of for an example, I saw a tweet and I'm like, God, I wish I could block this genre of tweet, right? I saw a tweet and it was something. It was like it was a quote tweet of a WrestleTix rundown of WWE's SmackDown's ticket sales for this Friday, and they were healthy, really good. And I was like, I thought the Fed wasn't hot anymore. And I was like, if I could just get rid of that genre of tweet, and I thought AEW didn't tell stories, there wouldn't be a wrestling Twitter left. But I would love to just get rid of it, right? I'm not saying I want endless. They call them town hall promos, right? I think it was the Deadlock podcast that is coined that term, where it's just a total exposition dump, the likes of which I bury on the Raw and like NXT reviews every single goddamn week, where they establish the premise, regurgitate the premise, do a volley of exposition dumping, and then get the sound bites in for the video package. It doesn't really advance. It's not a plot. It's not a story. It's pretty bad writing that just everything feels like it's in stasis. Funnily enough, I do not want that. Right. What I want is not a 30-second backstage promo with like Avanade, the Babes of Wrath or Brodido saying, we're going to win on Saturday. See you later. I don't want that. It accomplishes nothing. All it does is remind you, all right, there's a pay-per-view on Saturday and we're going to have a match on it. Right, great. I knew that already. Here's what the broader point I want to make. And I know, and again, I know these freakazoids on Twitter, on X, do not account for all of the audience. And to illustrate that, there was discourse about Anna Jay getting hard done by in the tag team tournament. What? That match in the building got no heat whatsoever because Anna Jay, and there's booking that goes into it, but isn't over, right? You are making up problems to talk about. You've got a victim complex. People are trying to tell you things like, the stories aren't that engaging. The stories aren't that hot. The wrestlers who you say deserve it aren't getting reactions in the real world that you refuse to participate in, and whatever, right?
Very quickly, shout out to Matthew Ormsby. I meant to share this with you yesterday,
right.
who was at Boston. title of the email he sent me, by the way, was Spreadsheet Booking Jones from Boston.
Yeah.
He says, hey, you bitter bean-eating bastards.
Hey.
Coming to you from wicked pisser Boston after going to the Again Ass Arena last night. Gives us a nice summary of all the show. I'll share it with you properly afterwards. Collision recap. Women's tag was bad.
Yeah, of course it was. Of course it was. That's a different story, but I guess I just wanted to rant. And I guess what I'm trying to tell people, or what I'm trying to make clear, is that I can see a great or a lengthy or a match that aspires to be very, very good in the ring on free TV every single week, to the point where I'm numb to it and I'm spoiled by it. What I want from a go-home show, what I want from AEW, and I'm not particularly getting, right, is an incentive to buy the event, is a reason to get truly emotionally invested in what I'm seeing. And I think one very basic way of accomplishing that, right, and this is, I'm teaching my nana how to suck eggs here, is by having live in-ring promo segments. And it's not as if the roster isn't incredibly gifted at this, to sell me, to deprive me, to make me anticipate the match. Because what is the difference between the matches on Dynamite and this really broken at this point idea that a lot of them should be great, okay, and the matches on the pay-per-view? The matches on the pay-per-view cost money, okay? So you need to differentiate the matches on your television from the matches on your pay-per-view, because one of them costs money, right? And the matches that cost money, I am meant to care about more than the matches that don't cost money, right? How do you convince me to go, that match is worth paying for? Okay. Oh, well, the match will be good. Nah! The matches on TV, that's a selling point. They're meant to be good. Often they are.
Yeah.
The matches that cost $50, which is a denomination in a currency of money, have to feel special. They have to feel personal. They have to feel great. They have to feel like, God, you cannot miss this thing.
Seismic.
Things are going to change. What changed at the Wrestle Dream? Not much. These are going to have big-time ramifications, okay? The hatred between these two wrestlers is, in fact, so palpable and intense that you need a steel cage. You need to pay money, because they're going to do things that they wouldn't necessarily do on TV. Hell, they're not allowed to do on TV. And Hangman Page, right, did a decent job. I would say decent, not amazing, a decent job of doing that, right? Brodido backstage, and I will say they have told that story well enough up to that point. Yeah. But this Mark Briscoe, they just reestablished the premise backstage again. For the second consecutive pay-per-view cycle, Mark Briscoe did not get a live mic in front of his people who adore him, and he didn't get the opportunity to rile them up, send them in a frenzy, have them believing in him. Okay?
One of the main reasons I'm excited about this show, that match.
And imagine if they just emphasized it. I don't want to explain. And here's the thing. Some of those responses were like, do you need things spoon-fed? Yeah, no, I don't. I've been actively campaigning for that not to happen for my entire goddamn career in wrestling media.
You wrote a book about it.
I wrote a book about it. I wrote the lists about it before AEW even existed, okay? But what did they do, Briscoe and Fletcher? They basically just reestablished the stakes in a little cute little backstage pre-tape that you'll never remember, and that ultimately accomplished nothing. They already did it. AEW does this a lot. It's not high art. It really isn't. Why can't he do it in front of live fans, right, who are going crazy for this match? And if they can, ramp it all up to a fever pitch, get the referee corps out, get the security guards, get my blood boiling, get my sense of anticipation into overdrive. So I got fed up. Really, I did get fed up with this total, it's still fine, actually. One particular reply guy was like, that's fine, it's fine. And they've never had that many in-ring promos. It's like expecting a car to be a plane or whatever. And it's like they had quite a few memorable ones in 2021, as I recall. 2021, okay, when it was real goddamn hot and great. Okay, well, what of it? Now, what? And the response was something along the lines of, all right, they had them in 2021. What's the difference? And I was like, well, 2021 was a more hot, more buzzed about, talked about, better, more popular year. And they were like, oh, well, so? I was like, do you not want it to be good?
Yeah.
Do you not want to feel like you're going to miss the end of the world if you don't watch this pay-per-view? You're going to miss out. How could you watch the CM Punk Eddie Kingston face-to-face?
Yes. I saw that. I saw you posting that. And
so I tweeted a collage of the Elite sit-down, which I'm going to get onto as well.
Quick.
Oh my God.
The Eddie Kingston CM Punk face-to-face. The I'm a Snake Old Man twist in MJF CM Punk. And the twist where Kenny Omega reveals I've actually got Don Callis with me all along in the go-home contract signing for Full Gear 2021. Right? That is what I need. Is there anything on the All Out? Because All in Texas was a good-ass pay-per-view build, right? Forbidden Door, All Out, Wrestle Dream, Full Gear builds where you're like, I imagine watching CM Punk, Eddie Kingston, that Rampage face-to-face and thinking, I'll skip that. I was desperate to see that.
Counting
match.
the days, weren't you?
Absolutely counting the days. You are lying to yourself, if you think something's as good as that in the last 3 months of AEW television, and you are a pathetic mark for a set of initials if you think, that's not important, actually. It's still great. It's fucking a joke, man. It's fine for it to be bad. If you're the type of wrestling fan who thinks you don't need promos, or rather, good promos. I know there were promos on this show. Good promos.
We got a glimpse of it with Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah, just a glimpse, though.
Just a glimpse.
And it's fine, I guess. I mean, I'd like to be happy with AEW right now and like feel energized by what they're doing, even if there's no real active attempts to do proper pro wrestling and, make me feel energized for it. But don't tell me off for expecting more. I'm right and you're wrong. I hate that attitude as well. I'm sorry.
I agree.
But I am aware.
I'm so disillusioned with X that I didn't reply, but I was angry on your behalf, particularly with that one.
I never get flustered as well anymore. I truly don't. But I'm like, are you joking, man? They're called wrestling promotions.
Yeah.
They promote shows.
It was particularly that one where you were talking about, I don't know, it's the drum that we always beat, but it's there for a reason, about like 2025 compared to 2021, the build exactly to Full Gear or the last few months. And Psycho Tangent saying this is when it was white hot, this is when it was must see, this is when it was booming.
Yeah.
Compared to now. Someone saying, so it still exists, is for me like someone saying, yeah, I know you won the league that season, but we're still in the league.
Yeah.
Well, don't you want a bit more?
I know. Do you not want more? Like, do you not want more? And so I'm going to go match by match, and I'm going to assess the builds out of 10. That's what I'm going to do.
Ooh.
Because the builds need to happen and happen to a very productive and emotional and special standard. Otherwise, I'm not going to buy the pay-per-view. Here's the thing. They're all going to buy the pay-per-view. For now, anyway. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but, God damn it, it could still be better. But before I do that, made this collage. Punk, Eddie Kingston, Punk, MJF, Omega, Hangman, the Elite sit down, right? Mm-hmm. So I've been making the point that, and I don't need this town hall, I'm telling you, I don't need it. I don't need these endless, lengthy face-to-face. The best professional wrestling promo of all time, in my opinion, Austin 316, lasted less than 2 minutes. I don't need a town hall. Stop putting words in my mouth. I know it's not you. I'm just, let us go.
Yeah.
Austin delivered it in front of a crowd, right? And it lasted less than 2 minutes, and it was the best and the most iconic, right? I think AEW should set up, and WWE do this. I don't think they use it anywhere near enough. This sort of, oh, well, it's not this big promo train or interrupted face-to-face promo or whatever, but they have Redmond.
Yeah.
And they usually do it during the international commercials where she'll speak to a wrestler in front of a crowd. They need to do way more of that. If they're not going to do it, AEW should just nick it, the old Oakland position, right? Renee Paquette's done it on occasion. There should be a weekly feature of AEW Dynamite. It really, really should. Because the Austin 316 promo, right, if you go back and watch it, he is nominally a heel. He will stay nominally a heel for about at least like a year or just under a year. But he's so magnetic. He is so compelling. He is so intent on taking over the professional wrestling world that when he starts talking, it's magic. Go and watch it. Go and watch it. He gets these sort of boos. The fans are kind of playing along. Like, all right, okay, well, he's a heel and he's insulting all my favorite WWF superstars, which he says with such incredible disdain. But then as he slowly gets that rhythm and he's just like awful, vicious, contemptuous towards Jake Roberts, who's getting his like sorry ass dragged up the aisle like the loser that he is in that night. And then he starts being really kind of darkly funny with it. And you can see his traps getting towering as he starts talking. And he's got this hypnotic rhythm to the delivery. You can hear the laughter when he starts going, oh, God, whip your ass now. You can hear the pockets of the people laughing and responding to him. And I know it might be considered a ridiculous analogy, and I'm not saying, well, you know what AEW should do every week as a staple of Dynamite, the best promo of all time.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you that in front of a crowd, even for 2 minutes, no town hall, but if you did something like that sort of position, you can hear that crowd, and you start to get that sense of he's going to be something special. And look, that might be rose-tinted because, as we all know, right, Austin 316 wasn't this overnight sensation. Some of the stuff he was doing in the summer, he's begging off against The Undertaker on the very next Raw. He's working like a really past it Yokozuna on the SummerSlam pre-show. I'm not trying to be too romantic or fake about this, but if you listen to that promo, you can tell why, all right, this guy's getting a push. You can tell why everyone's like, Bret Hart is like, I want to work with him. Because you can hear it bubbling up in that crowd, and it's absolutely glorious. And that's just an example, it might be unfair, of you can do it in 2 minutes in front of a live crowd. And just one more thing as well. I'm all about that live crowd promo, more of it, because these pre-tapes are nothing. These backstage pre-tapes where it's like, oh, the babes of wrath, aren't they being wholesome and charming and dorky backstage? And yeah, they've got, they're both over. I'm saying there could be more over. They could be difference makers. But these things aren't ineffective. Because, you see Willow and Holly Cameron interact, and they're being wholesome, they're chest bumping, and they're still over. So I guess it's fine. It's bare minimum, in my opinion, right? But then you got Brodido, and yes, they're over, but they've barely spoke. It's through their in-ring work. They could be more over, right? I know it's my thing with the Elite, but what kind of annoys me is, like, this, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks are going to get back together. Every time Don Callis asks them to join the Don Callis family, it just feels increasingly phony and hokey and obligatory every week because, like, if you look at me like this, when I'm talking to you, you'd only have to do that once for me to think, oh, he's in the mood about something, or he's not really, grasping or enjoying what I have to say. It's been like, 5-6 weeks or however long of Callis trying to do this with the Bucks, and Matt Jackson's like, I don't know about this and all the rest of it. Right. God damn it. It's like, so the Young Bucks do this pre-tape, right? And every single week, as if by magic, that stupid pro wrestling device that AEW is just falling into because it's easy, as if by magic, the person they're feuding with or in a storyline with materializes by magic into the backstage segment, right? And then it just happens, and it feels fake, and the performances are pretty not great. Callis is just kind of an idiot for not sort of like sensing the vibes or whatever, and it just compare that with the Elite sit down in think I'm going to annoy some people here. February 2020. Jim Ross sits down. I've got an important point to make here, right? So these pre-tapes, you're meant to, that they're pre-taped, but you're meant to think they're happening as the show unfolds. And as if by magic, the rival is just there. They used to care about it more. They used to frame it in a manner that was more organic and realistic, to the point where my personal investment, and by the way, I don't watch AEW to watch a good wrestling show. I watch AEW to watch the best. And every little detail matters, or should matter. So it's the go-home show before Revolution. And they tell you this is taped beforehand, okay? They don't insult your intelligence. And it's Jim Ross mediating a sit-down interview between the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. And he's like, right, okay, well, we need to promote this show. And it's great because they're not naturally the most Chris Jericho style, outlandish, I love the spotlight performers. So they basically admit that. I know you fellas they're not doing this in the ring deliberately as a choice, right? I'm saying pre-tapes can work if they're not the most contrived, obligatory, phoned in, it's the pay-per-view, we have to do this, right? I'm even in defense of your precious pre-tapes that you think are good, even though they're not, just because they happened. And I know it's not you, again. And it's this perfect, brilliant interaction between these two teams who, there's a lot of inner turmoil in the Elite, and this is when it actually meant something. It used to be a business. And basically, the Young Bucks are like, it hasn't really worked for this. That Hangman Page jobber, it's the tag champ, and we're not. And you can tell that it annoys them, and they start projecting as normal human beings kind of do when things go awry and fraught. And their justification is, you're just drinking. You're even with us or against us. We don't know where you are with us. And you've looked into this tag team title with Kenny and all the rest of it. Kenny's trying to keep the peace, and he can't help but being honest. And sometimes honesty is the worst thing to do, because he goes, oh, yeah, I'm surprised we're the champions. The Young Bucks are the best tag team. He's putting his opponents over, and he's telling the story of Hangman Page. And Hangman Page is like, you what? He's like, well, thanks. I thought this belt meant I was the best, but me, I guess, and all the rest of it. And then it reaches this point where the thing that has been unspoken finally gets spoken. You were a jobber in Ring of Honor, and you should be grateful to us. He's like, well, no, I'm not. I'm a champion. And it's like, right, okay. Oh, it's gotten really frosty between these guys. Not into full-blown hatred, because they're a little bit more textured than that, right? But Jim Ross has sat there on official business. I'm here to conduct an interview, and it's in front of the ring. And before the show starts, and it just feels like this actual setting that isn't this contrived fake TV landscape that AEW just kind of turned into over the years, because it's easy. You can do it without fans. You should do it with fans. It used to be better. This build is just pretty unimaginative and contrived and repetitive from the last pay-per-view cycle. Let's get into it. I'm sorry.
But I agree, in terms of I see the disingenuous fans sharing the picture of the card and being like, look at these class matches we've got. We're not saying that they're not class matches, but I don't know any person who's gone out there and gone, Build to Full Gear is the best build that AEW have had all year. No, it's not. It's by the, like you say, spreadsheet, by the book.
Yeah.
Rematch City Jones.
People would bury WWE for doing repetitive B-level pay-per-view builds, and it was good that AEW didn't do that 6 years ago when they had 4. Now that they do, they're just doing mental gymnastics to justify how good it is still.
Let's start by previewing a match that I think the build has been good for, and that's Mox versus Kyle O'Reilly.
Yes.
Because I'm really enjoying the story they're telling with Mox, finally.
Yes, absolutely. I would rate this build a nice 8 out of 10. I really love the idea of the Death Riders not being a thing. I think that ultimately what an unbelievable success it was. Or at least an attempt to, reheat it all back up. They've been quite incredible, caddies, to use a weird analogy, in that they've set up Hangman Page in the best possible way. Like they are the De Bruyne, the Kevin De Bruyne of AEW. He's a footballer who's really good at passing and creating goals, right? Where John Moxley could not have done more to get Hangman Page back to where a lot of fans thought he needed to be. He did a less successful job with Darby Allin, in my opinion, but I think that entire feud was a little bit too goofy. And this stuff with Kyle O'Reilly is great. This is kind of what I talk about when I talk about AEW in the old ways of like, it should be the most sports-oriented promotion. They should lean on sporting devices to tell stories, right? Instead of like outlandish, stupid angles that are contrived and then they set up a bloody plasterboard wall just to crash through, stupid weapons that would never fly if any of this was real because they're stupid and deadly and all the rest of it. This is the other side of it. They can still tell stories through in-ring wrestling. They absolutely should. That it is the wrestling promotion. Emphasize it. Have Kyle O'Reilly not explain it, but just brag about it. Fire up the fans with the microphone, but I digress. I love the idea of Jon Moxley having difficulty with a mid-table opponent. Like, what is there a term for mid-table in American sports?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like a team that doesn't really win. Like a 50-50, really, where it's like you should be beating them if you're a champion or you're a top star. You should be beating them. That's how you win titles. If you can't beat those...
Middle of the pack.
Mid-tier, middle of the pack, mid-table. Like they're good. They wouldn't be at this level if they're not good, but you have to be beating them almost every single time if you want to lead the pack, if you want to top that table, win those titles, right? I love the idea of it's just this well-told, it just makes perfect sporting sense where it's like, right, Moxley, it's like, you lost against Hangman Page, but there's no real shame. The guy is incredible. He's had your number the entire time. He's the main character. That didn't work. Darby, oh, God. Yeah, you can't make him quit. You can't make him quit. You can knock him out, but you can't make him quit. Questions should be asked of like, this is sack the manager stuff, right? So when you start losing against this caliber of team, talented, no doubt, but they aren't contending for a title. And yeah, if you're losing against these teams that often, that's when unrest amongst the fan base or amongst the dressing room, like, the Death Riders, we should be sacking the manager here. The manager's under pressure. Love this. The matches have been really, really strong. I'm wanting the Death Riders to be over and done with, or at least Moxley's rule to be over and done with. It's clearly happening. There's stakes here. They haven't said Moxley must leave the Death Riders, because that would be stupid and explaining things, wouldn't it? But the idea is Kyle O'Reilly, undisputed, just beats him clean in the middle after a nice, unvarnished, technical, brawling scrap here. Then the post pay-per-view should be the table setting. Something big happens at the pay-per-view. The consequences are laid bare on the TV after, and then you build to the next story, right? God, I sound like Eric Bischoff. I'm sorry. But it is time. It really is time. Because I want that to happen. And because Kyle O'Reilly, Kyletron, bollocks aside, it seems like a sweet bloke who's been through a lot and he's a great wrestler on his best day. Maybe he can actually do something, He could have a really good C2 run after this,
Yeah.
And then he could beat Okada maybe, and then there's loads of stuff you can do with him after. But the result has to happen. But because I personally feel like it has to happen and it matters, even though I've seen it on TV for free, I'm thinking this is worth watching on pay-per-view. This is worth really locking into, because even though they haven't told you what the stakes are, AEW trusts you, and you can kind of see it's over for Mox if he loses this one.
I think it's over for Mox if he wins it as well. I agree. I think Kyle probably should and will win. But I think there's also a way to tell that story where Mox is like, got the W, and even the Death Riders now are like, yeah, you got the W because of our help. Like if you do interference or you do something with, Utah or Claudio. Claudio, I really enjoyed someone pointing out on social media, by the way, yesterday, the bit where Mox is getting beaten down. He's isolated by Kyle, and when like they tried to you had tried kicking Kyle, and that didn't work. And then the rest of them, Roddy and that sort of are controlling the ring. I didn't realize the bit until someone pointed out where Claudio goes, right, he Mox out of there.
Yeah,
he's our guy. So he grabs you and just chucks him in, so he can take a kick in, which distracts everyone, so he can pull Mox out of the ring. I thought it was a great touch and a real sign potentially of it doesn't have to be the end of the Death Riders. It can be Claudio being you've lost the locker room.
Yeah.
I'll take it from here, pal.
Yeah.
Don't know why Claudio sounds like that now.
Me neither, but...
But yeah, I think there's a way that you can tell that with Mox winning, because there's a chance that they go, Mox has lost a lot on pay-per-view in recent months.
Yeah.
But, yeah, have Kyle win. This is a great push for him. They've kind of beautifully told both stories, because I agree that Kyle's he's not top tier. Could be, but he wasn't when this feud first started. But also at the same time of Mox really shouldn't be losing to him.
Yeah.
You've also made it be is this kind of old Kyle O'Reilly coming back?
Yeah, absolutely. No, Kyle should win, and because it would feel like such a weird setback in a retconning so much. I'm personally invested in this result. 8 out of 10 build. Really well done.
Sticking with the Death Riders, a good old-fashioned wrestling match. Pac versus Darby Allin after these two have tried to kill each other.
I mean, this probably warrants a 6 for the burning table spot alone, right? But again, Pac cut a nice little promo, and ultimately it's mid-card fare, this. But do I need to see this match? Is it worth however much money as part of a package? No. I would describe this as good filler. There is nothing really differentiate. They could have put this on Collision, let alone Dynamite, this match. Mm-hmm. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. But
Darby's one of those names you have to put on the pape.
Darby at this point, this feels like spreadsheet, tick box. We kind of have to do this. People don't need to see it. People aren't going crazy for it, but it's maintenance stuff, not seismic, not the end of the world, not something you must see. We should probably get Darby on this pay-per-view, because it's a bad look if we spent all that time building him to beat Moxley and he's not on the pay-per-view. Let's just do some filler, Pac and do a job, and then maybe Darby will do something in the C2 or whatever afterwards. Does this need to happen? Could it happen on TV? 6, and I'm being generous. This is a Dynamite match masquerading as a pay-per-view match, and there have been quite a lot of them recently. That being said, this goes first, nice 10 minutes of just Christ Pac's class.
Yes. And the visual as well.
Yeah.
Visual doesn't make a wrestler, but the way Pac looks right now and the way Darby Allin's always looked is great. I'm just how the hell's that guy going to beat that guy?
Yeah.
We know he's going to. Darby's winning, obviously.
They've had a match on Dynamite where I thought, years ago now, and again, doesn't help that they have a match. Darby Allin doesn't really do character development because he's just one of those rare. He's authentic, bit cringe, but he is what he is. He is who he says he is. He doesn't really need an arc. Title pursuits, yes, but not an arc. Pac is the same. He's just been a moody prick the entire time. We like him for it, but there's nothing really in terms of their character progression or whatever that truly makes us different from a match they had at Road Rager, I think it was, in January or early February 2020. I recall that match being really good. Not one of the better early Dynamite matches, but I just recall Darby taking a Pac like a bomb. That was Jesus Christ, that looked awful. Awesome, but awful. Yeah. Match will be good. It's a Dynamite match masquerading as a pay-per-view match, and it feeds into my idea of if these things were 3 hours long, which probably should have happened the second that they started putting the B-level pay-per-views on, then you wouldn't really book this, but I could care less if I missed it.
I'd love to see the gimmick of Pac suddenly becomes the happiest guy in the locker room.
Yeah.
What the hell would that look like?
That's an NXT brain, okay?
Yeah. But I agree, kind of unnecessary. It'll be great.
5 out of 10.
Yeah. But I will
5
say,
out of 10 build.
I'm not going to bury this one too much because it's kind of useful to have Darby Allin in just a straight-up wrestling match to remind you he's not just some gimmick guy. He's a straight-up wrestler. And he might well be world champion next year.
Yeah.
So not going to go too hard on this one. Moving on. Join me in this corner, Sid.
Don't hurt me.
I know.
Sacrilege corner. Got to tell them what the corner is.
Sorry, yes. I know we are the staunch, let's get more women on television show. 4-way tag match with all the women left in the women's tag team tournament. That's the Babes of Wrath, the Sisters of Sin, the Timeless Lovebombs, and Megan Bayne and Marina Shafir. The winning team here gets to choose the stip for their semi-final match.
Conditional 3 out of 10 for this build. Right, it's not really that complex, but different thoughts. I've enjoyed quite a lot the booking of the tournament on the whole. I think it's been quite bold. I think there's been some nice dovetailing going on with the blood and guts stuff. No problems with the tournament. Ergo, I would have liked to see 2 tournament matches on the pay-per-view. Okay? I feel like this has got an obligatory feel to it that's kind of half-arsed in terms of, we should get more women on this pay-per-view. So
Chuck it on between
chuck it on
trios match and the main event, let's say.
Yeah. And it's a conditional 3 because this just feels like yet another symptom of the apathetic approach to the women's division. So that's going against this. As does the idea of why does there need to be a stipulation in a tournament match? Like, a stipulation exists to enhance interest in a match that you've either done before, we'll get to that in the main event, or you're blowing off, and this is the last time, so let's make it special. It's kind of a cheat code. Surely so stipulation basically is a synonym of incentive to watch, right? There's already an incentive. You're trying to make the titles feel important by establishing a hard-fought tournament to win them. This is hat on top of a hat, which speaks to a long-standing AEW problem with excess. It's conditional 3 out of 10 in terms of, what's this doing on the show? Because I don't know what the stipulation is. They might have a really cool idea. And I say that earnestly because they've had some cool ideas in this tournament. Like having Athena and Mercedes lose. All right, that was something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, conditional, this just feels like a pretty cheap and lazy, almost patronizing way of getting more women on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're complicating the tournament, which I don't like because I've been into it.
Here's a question. Does this match being on there and the resultant stipulation thing affect who you think wins? Because it feels like I think whoever wins this match, stay with me.
To do like Tony Storm and so the Timeless Love Bombs, they win. The stipulation for our semi-final match, and it's Minge Madness. And you think, all right, okay, well, Tony Storm's going to win Minge Madness,
But what I'm going to say is, I don't think the team that wins this match wins the tournament. Do you know what I mean? So does that maybe affect who you think wins this? Do you think, like, for example, the Sisters of Sin win and say, we're going to take this match to the core, hardcore, that is? But does that affect your prediction for this?
No, not necessarily.
It's probably just fed brain in it from me.
Maybe. I feel like if it was the semis and the in a different, whatever. If it was the semis and it was on telly. No, if it was the semis and it was on pay-per-view and whatever, there was some kind of stipulation where the winners of the respective semis could, like, choose the stipulation or whatever. Maybe if it was the final and something like this was going on, I don't know. There was like a coin flip.
It is a bit ridiculous that they've got the semi-finals haven't even happened yet, and they're going to have crowned a new champion, national championship, before this women's tag tournament's finished.
That's funny. It's ridiculous, and it's not. It's like ironically funny. Haha, not good, but typical. I'm not sure about the match quality neither. I have not been impressed with the Sisters of Sin in recent weeks and months. Shafir is an unbelievable character, and there should be more unbelievable characters in AEW, and she's not put a foot wrong, and in fact has been one of my favorite elements of AEW in recent... Well, if I was to tell you my top 5 favorite wrestlers that I've just enjoyed watching and I thought were productive and believable and entertaining or scary or whatever, good, and all that entails, Shafir and Okada and Dax Harwood are 3 of the 5. Like, Shafir's been class. But there's no shame in this. You should be accentuating the positive and hiding the negatives. But she's great in like Tornado, Blood and Guts, Anarchy in the Arena, where she can feel like this violent force of nature. In regular ass matches, and so on Collision, the finish was good, but not so much. I wouldn't put her in that her in there that long. I just feel like there's a lot of moving parts, and there are wrestlers who are either stagnant or who still need protecting. There's scope for this to fall apart, frankly.
I have 2 different ideas on this. Number 1,
like Cameron, Shafir, and Julia Hart in the same match without plunder and blood. Yeah. Let's be, I'm a little bit too real, okay? There's scope for it to go kind of wrong or be bad. Let's friggin' face it.
it's a 4-way, so I mean, in terms of like using weapons, what's the rules on that?
But that could well be perfectly legal, Cole.
If I'm... Well, there's a version of me that thinks the Babes of Wrath win this and pick First Blood for their match, just because why wouldn't you just open Sky Blue back up?
Yeah.
It's only been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think Bayne and Shafir win this. I don't know what stip they pick.
Submissions.
Maybe. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Especially because you've established at Blood and Guts, that's a weakness for the Timeless Love Bombs.
This is why it's a conditional 3. I feel like multi-person matches, which Wilbourn, they exist because the quality is a cheat code, not because they're the Shakespearean heft of the stories, right?
Yeah.
If the bit where it all breaks down and it's move, save, save, if that's tight, it's going to be good. It's a cheat code. These matches exist for that reason. Drama, unpredictability, and all the rest of it. I worry about it.
But if I had to pin you down, you're going Minge Madness.
Minge Madness, yeah.
I think you might be spot on there, to be honest. But let's talk about the...
Nah, it's going to be a submissions match now. That
we've worked it out.
We've worked it out. Again, the fantasy booking streak continues.
Indeed. Let's talk National Championship Casino Gauntlet. We know... Oh, by the way, did you see the clarification on what happened with the...
yes.
Shelton?
Let's tell the listeners, come viewers.
Yeah, in case you missed this on the news, Shelton, Benjamin, Mike Bailey, a lot of speculation from us, for example, that it maybe Mike Bailey had been knocked goofy or what.
Something was awry.
Alvarez clarified, basically, that wasn't the original planned finish, but quite rightly, Shelton went, that looks so mint, that's the finish, but the ref just didn't catch it. So it was just miscommunication, which is a relief. I didn't want Speedball to be injured. But yes, we now know that they're hopefully going to, well, as in the words of Michael Sidgwick, axe and smash that bitch.
You're going to axe and smash that bitch.
With Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. 1 and 2 here. The other entrants we know of, Ricochet, Kevin Knight, and Speedball.
Yeah, build probably another 3 or 4 out of 10. The old Bret Hart, in that it gets points taken off it immediately for why it exists. We do not need another new title. I feel like I'm not even going to address the idea of, all titles are great. Everyone should know. And I feel like everyone does. Everyone with a brain in their head. So the fact that it's for a completely extraneous, pointless crutch of a title instantly makes me half resent the match before it's even happened. So points off for that out of 10. They've telegraphed 3 winners. They could swerve you. They could have someone else who isn't. No, there's telegraphed 2.
Mm-hmm.
Ricochet and or Lashley. Okay. They could swerve you and someone stealing it from Lashley could give him a new direction or whatever. But I'll be watching this match thinking, well, it's Lashley or Ricochet. And whoever comes in, oh, nice to see you get 2 minutes on pay-per-view. Oh, nice to see you return or debut or whatever. They could swerve you, but they appear to have telegraphed it. And because AEW has a long, rich tradition of telegraphing results and what have you, like you knew it was going to be MJF or Briscoe ahead of the last one, and they've just, it's tropey now. One of the few awesome developments of 2024 was the launch of this new gimmick idea. Great stuff. I don't want to say they've ruined it, but they've told the same story in a different way in terms of, oh, well, it's going to be one of these two winning it, as they did it all in Texas. It's a little bit soon to be revisiting the stipulation, quite frankly. I thought that if this is like an all-in, like the way of doing the Rumble match at all-in and getting people on the card and having a special stipulation match, it's all right to have it annually because the Rumble's annual. It allows a new contender to emerge after the Owen. It's good. I like it. I like it a lot. They've revisited it too quickly. Not only does it not feel special in and of itself, the Casino Gauntlet, because of the title that it's being contended for, but they've revisited it too quickly, and the last one wasn't that good. The last one was bloated. The last one was overlong. The last one peaked before the finish. The last one, I started to really feel like it was a bit of a chore. Like some of the individual like interactions and spots were good, but like it got that contrived mystical thing. It just felt like, God, there's another wrestler coming out here.
Compare that to the one we were there for at Wembo.
Yeah. The urgency, like the furious, blistering pace at which Orange Cassidy and Zack Sabre Jr. wrestled their spots was great, because the idea is it can end at any time with one pinfall, right? The Royal Rumble isn't like that, but they paced it and worked it like a Rumble almost in Texas. The beauty was I need to get this pin as quickly as humanly possible. And I thought that was such a cool feature of this sort of new stipulation idea, or a tweaked one, in that, oh, well, a lot of the wrestlers in AEW are fast, hard-hitting, can do spectacular stuff. The matches do go by and are worse sometimes. Great. You've got a match for it. It was just so bloated. It betrayed itself almost at All in Texas. So how mediocre I think that match was is fueling a bit of cynicism here. They've telegraphed it. I don't like the title. I don't like any of this, but this might epitomize. Actually, the match was great. Because there could be some returns. Don't know who's left to debut, but we were saying that in 2020, mate.
Good point.
We were like, who's left? You know, the magic them up from somewhere. So I am not really into this, but it's clocking it. 10, 9. Who's that? Well, the Rumble was crap for years. This has been crap for months. The Rumble was crap for years and years and years and years and years and years. But you see a clock, you see a countdown. You deprive people. See, it's all about depriving people of, like, not, in this case, knowledge of who it's going to be. And you're going to get a response. I like it when it happens.
Are you crowning as the new champion?
I reckon, and again, it's just a prediction, it could just be, all right, okay, well, yeah, Ricochet's won it, incensing Lashley, from whom he steals it, setting up a longer singles match between the two. Part of me, just give it to Lashley. It's a vanity title to make him feel like a champion and appease a guy with, you know, expectations of being a star and whatnot. Don't waste time, just give it to him. And, you know, he could do a way to differentiate it. Isn't the whole idea that it's going to be defended in Ring of Honor and stuff like that?
Yes, across brands, yes.
Yeah, so it doesn't really feel like a big Lashley vehicle for me, actually, now that I think about it. Like, if it was Lashley, it could be like, oh, you can pretend to be Goldberg for a year. Now Okada's pretending to be New Japan Okada, in effect, by having a long title reign.
Yeah.
Goldberg could have this, Lashley could have this vanity thing of, oh, that could just be Goldberg. This dominant guy,
Yeah.
Or like a Lesnar. Not nice, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Can't imagine like Lashley doing Ring of Honor and stuff. Maybe it is Ricochet's to lose.
I'm going Jeff Jarrett. Yeah, I said it. I'm just trying to keep it interesting.
Yeah.
Mike Bailey would be fun. He'd be great. Just go around everyone and just have class matches with everyone.
Yeah, I didn't see that 2 years and 3 years ago.
What do you want to do next? Tag team titles?
Yes.
Brodido versus FTR. We've particularly enjoyed several weeks of this.
8 out of 10 build. 8 out of 10 build. I've not everything has to be super serious, and I know I am guilty of going not as good as February 2020. Everything should be the best thing ever. Idiots. I do have unrealistic expectations. Okay, I do. I love this though. Like, this is just straight up fun.
Yeah.
Mid-card fare. Like, they've had Dax Harwood be a complete dick to, of all people, Bandido's, like, excessively adorable grandmother. Dax Harwood's been a dickhead. He was really funny playing off Ricky Steamboat.
Yeah.
And as fake and contrived is the big sort of spectacle moment of Brody King punching through a wall that existed to be punched through. The performances were so good. The idea was so cool that I didn't actually care for once how contrived it was. This is Dax Harwood in a great heel run. And Cash has been great as well. But Dax Harwood being a dickhead and getting rumbled for it. Getting his just desserts. The babyface catharsis. The baby faces are cool and superhuman, and like, if they can just get their hands on FTR, they'll rip them to shreds, limb from limb. But the heels have done little dickhead tricks to make that not happen until the pay-per-view. I wish it got sold a little bit more. Like, can you even remember what Brodido said on this pre-tape?
The only thing I can remember is like their sort of catchphrase, which is like, we'll never stop fighting.
Yeah. Did, off the top of your head, we only watched it like less than 48 hours ago, did Bandido go, you can't do that to my grandma?
No.
I will kill you. Probably should. Otherwise, it's just cutesy wrestling, like stunned granny heat, you know? Like, oh, it'll be funny if we did this.
Stunned granny.
It would be funny if we did this.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. So it's kind of flawed in a way. Like, Gravity was just stood there.
Yeah, that's funny.
So it's pretty dumb, but also dumb and a little bit dumb, mostly clever, but it's mid-card fare. It's been a really entertaining bit of business, great personalities on show, funny, kind of electrifying. I've really enjoyed this. 7.5 out of 10 build.
Ready to retain?
I'm really invested in the result because, and again, not everything has to be a story. Sometimes it can just be, well, the runs that each character or the characters have been on, like that in itself can create a compelling match, not just the story that brings those characters together. Like Brodido have been one of the cool success stories. This FTR Renaissance. I hated Dax Harwood for a couple of years there.
Yeah.
I think he's amazing now, to the point where I can see the business artistic case for either team.
I agree.
So I'm going to be completely...
Put it on FTR for me.
Yeah.
I've loved Brodido, and I think you could run this one. This is a genuine rematch you could have at like World's End, because whether through shenanigans, I don't know, Bandido's grandma turns heel or whatever, or just some shenanigans with family members that give them the victory. That then they're like, no, now you're going to get it at World's End, and then maybe there's a. I think Brody King, Bandido, I don't need to talk on. It's obvious. I think Brody King is sensational. I think Brody King should be in the world title conversation next year. So I think there's a version of events where FTR win here, rematch at World's End, FTR retain, Brody turns on Bandido, and then is established as like a mega heel, potentially if Hangman Page is still champion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm going to go with, Bandido's grandma turns heel. She's like, there's like a masked attack on Bandido, and they pull the mask off, and it's like, oh my God, this is Nana.
No notes. No notes.
Let's talk about the match that I am most invested in outside of like the world title stuff, obviously.
I'm not invested in that at all.
But you know what I mean? At this, and I have been for the last few weeks, Carl Fletcher, Mark Briscoe.
Yes.
TNT title. Yeah, that's nice and all that. Will Mark Briscoe join the Don Callis family?
Right. The build out of 10. I'm not trying to crowbar a point in. I want to give it a 5.
You out of your f***ing mind, crowbar. Sorry. Had to do it.
I'm docking 6 or 7. 6, 7.
Hey! No idea.
I'll show James that later. I don't think it warrants how many rematches they've done. I think it might have peaked. It's for a title I don't really care about. Again, I didn't think this would happen after MJF. I really didn't. I thought that was the launching point. Yet again, they are leaning, AEW, Tony Khan, leaning on the innate sympathy and likability and just general, I can do whatever with Mark Briscoe. Because for 2 consecutive pay-per-view cycles, I'm banging the drum again, Mark Briscoe hasn't been given a microphone to sell the idea that he needs to win in the middle of that ring. Just some pre-tapes. Just some pre-tapes, really. I do like the stakes. I do like the idea. But this is like, what, their 7th or whatever match? 6?
Yeah.
6, 7.
7, I think.
6, 7. Sorry, any parents listening hate me right now. More so than usual. Why didn't they just do this last month?
Yeah.
There's a filler aspect to all of this.
The Wrestle Dream was 5.
Okay, so this will be, that's 6. I get it, but again, they'll be doing callbacks to stuff that didn't work, and then it's going to work in this match, or it worked, but it didn't work in this one, and the fans aren't going to bite. I don't think it's been that memorable.
No.
I think they should have, if they're going to do a 6th match, right? Some of them have been on Collision last year or whatever. So maybe we should have done a highlight package of this is the story so far.
Yeah.
This is the moves that have put the other away.
Fletcher Briscoe 1, Fletcher Briscoe 2.
Yeah.
That's a great... Like, I know what it is. It is, oh, okay, so you want the spoon-fed video package. Kinda,
I would like that. I just feel like there's a filler element to it. I feel like they've done one too many. Felt like, did last month's really need to happen for that long on pay-per-view? No. Because it just had the cumulative effect of just draining my energy for that event. How much did it matter, really, when we're just doing this again? So this is plagued by wider company excess, I think. I do like the stakes. They should have really had Mark Briscoe Cup promos.
They should have had the Carl Fletcher line. We said this on the Dynamite review. The Carl Fletcher line about, like, you want a proper family now. Out in front of a crowd. Because, yes, you still got a crowd. Ooh. But, like, you think back, and granted, it's an incredibly high bar to say, like, do you remember when MJF said this thing?
Yeah.
But, like, when he... I know it's... And it's not something they should use a lot. Absolutely. And only when Mark, obviously, is okay with it, naturally. Yeah. But, like, there's the line. We all know where the line is. It's not like you're bringing up something that no one knows about. We all know about the terrible story of Mark's family. Have that in front of the people. Yeah. Have them... Because then you go, you're not saying that for our guy, Mark Briscoe. And this is why I'm invested in it. And
so you're saying that what they should do is elicit emotion within the fans.
Indeed.
And then we can feel their emotion and join in.
Yeah. Like, not to do the whole cornet, fans should be wanting to jump over that barricade.
No, we're not doing that either.
Yeah. Setting my stall out here.
How many matches left?
1, 2, 3. 3 left.
Getting hungry.
Setting my stall out here. I love Mark Briscoe. I want him to be a world champion in AEW.
You love indentured servitude.
I love indentured servitude. I don't think it's going to happen because I don't think you have Mark Briscoe say he's basically fighting for his late brother and then have him lose. But I've never wanted a heel to win a match more than this because I think, I'll let you say what you're going to say about if Mark Briscoe wins. I think there's so much more you can do with Mark Briscoe, part of the Don Callis family. A, because there's bloody loads of him. And B, because, like, I think that springboards Mark into a world title picture. I think winning the TNT title firmly establishes his ceiling.
Yeah, if he wins, it's just a little consolation prize, isn't it?
What did you say? Can't wait for Mark Briscoe to win this, and
Yeah, Mark Briscoe, rather than do like some pretty, if they measure it perfectly, and Don Callis is an arsehole, and Briscoe just week by week by week eats it, and then just stands up in front of a crowd to Don Callis, who still hasn't really taken that many bumps yet. It could be electrifying. How about instead, trade offer, Mark Briscoe wins TNT title and has 12-minute matches with Johnny TV on Collision for about 4 months.
this might be Fed brain, but to quote the man himself, like, I don't really get invested in a lot of things outside of MJF with regards to AEW nowadays. I was like, the moment this got suggested, I was like, we talked about it. Don Callis family meetings on the farm. Great. Don Callis smartening up Mark Briscoe, get him a suit to wear. You're going to, part of this family, you're going to dress appropriately. And like you say, Mark Briscoe, belt carrier for Kazuchika Okada. You're part of the family. And he's kind of one of the main guys. So I just want you to stand behind him and just hold up that belt for him. Don't drop it. Like, there's just so much
There's
stuff
potential.
you can do. Fun stuff, serious stuff, storyline development stuff.
And Mark Briscoe is great at doing, like, people say, like, it's kind of a shame he never went to WWE because he would have done sports entertainment really well.
Yeah. Like, I know, and I'm very biased when it comes to bloodline stuff, but like, Mark Briscoe joining the Don Callis family and having the Sami Zayn effect of, this guy's all right, actually, for like a Lance Archer or whatever. Yeah, I like this guy, actually. And then suddenly maybe there's a division in the Don Callis family. I'm not saying that's what has to happen. I just think there's far more options, though, than just, look at him, he's got that TNT title. Yep. It means the world to him, that. I've always thought he should be in the world title picture a whole lot more. We'll see.
Indeed.
Right. Let's talk about the match with not the world title on the line, but something bigger than that. I'm talking about $1 million. Austin Powers. Topical. It's the trios match. I know you've been kept awake by the worry about Jack Perry and Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega and Jurassic Express, Jungle Jack Perry and Luchasaurus versus the Young Bucks and Josh Alexander. That's big. Money's big. Big question is, will the Elite reunite?
Yep, 4 out of 10 build again for me. If you've somehow missed the podcast for 3 weeks and you think he hasn't really talked much about Kenny Omega a day, it's because I've bored everyone to tears with my big agenda of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks need to stop working together constantly. That might not be possible because Kenny Omega's so uncertain all the time in terms of what he can and can't do, and why can't he just do stuff with his mates if he's, it's easy for him and it's hard being Kenny Omega in 2025. I get it. But I don't have to like it. I can understand it. I don't have to do cartwheels over it. I'll be excited about it. When's enough with this Elite melodrama, getting back together, splitting up? It's just, I'm so bored of it. It's not just I'm personally bored of it. I feel like there's a bleak quality to it where it's like, God, you were on top of the world, you guys. You were changing everything. And how difficult was that to do when you had the monopoly trying to grab you down, hold you down and all the rest of it? It is bleak to this again in front of smaller crowds, to diminished reactions. It's not even that entertaining. And now there's just a sense of, oh, this is what we want to do, so we'll just do it. Who the hell are you? The best tag team and potentially big match wrestler of all time. I mean, that's exactly who you are, and I believe it. I genuinely love you. Can't be asked. I think the performances have been great. Like, every time I see Matt Jackson sort of look sheepish with his hands in his pockets, it's crap. It's every time they approach or become baby faces. I don't want to say it's a complete 180 to what they're best at, but come on, they're heels. I know you can't play heel forever, but as soon as those hands start going in those pockets and that sheepish expression gets plastered all over Matt Jackson's face, I really can't be bothered with it at all because you know what's coming next. constant melodrama. I actually worry about this match. It's Young Bucks. It's going to be 4 stars. I might hate it or get icked out by it, but in terms of the action, I mean, come on. You me? It's the Young Bucks and the Trios match on pay-per-view. It's going to be class. It's Kenny Omega will be up for it, whatever. I don't dread. There's going to be a lot of Kenny Omega. Can he really bring himself to fight the Young Bucks? Can the Young Bucks really bring themselves to fight Kenny Omega when they clearly still love each other deep down? The way that this might get performed is potentially cringe, bleak, of, we're doing this again. Why don't you just make up and get it over with? I don't think the drama's going to be there. They'll probably get a massive reaction in the building. Like, live, this will play very well live. But in terms of TV, if I see Matt Jackson and Kenny Omega look at each other as if to say, where did it all go wrong, eh? Where did it all go wrong for us? Should we I don't know whether to fight you or bloody give you a cuddle. I can't be asked. 3 out of 10. This. Kenny and the Jurassic Express win. They lose out on $1 million, the Young Bucks. Don Callis should say either, at the event or on Dynamite, you can't not join us now. You've missed out on all that. We don't need money. If we wanted money 6 years ago, we wouldn't have even started this thing, for which we were paid extremely handsomely.
Yeah.
We would have taken the money and sold out a long time ago. Love triumphs over everything. No. I'm not interested anymore.
Yeah, the Elite are reuniting.
Yeah.
It's not a question.
They've already they'll bring back being the Elite as well.
Mm-hmm.
Properly. I know they've
financed by the $1 million.
Well, because Kenny Omega is going to share it with them.
Yeah, I mean, the result is kind of secondary here. Like, I could easily see, I think I agree with you, but I could easily see the Bucks and Josh Alexander winning, right? Make no sense. And then the Bucks go, keep the money. I got friends. No, actually, I don't got friends. I got family. And then, reunite with Kenny or whatever. And then
Diesel.
Then
everyone, so it's Kenny Omega, Nick Jackson, and Vin Diesel. That's the Elite. Everyone knows that.
And then the Don Callis family take the $1 million, spend it fixing Mark Briscoe's teeth, because he's just joined the Don Callis family. And now he's got veneers and he looks proper and he's got, I don't know, hair or something. Is that anything?
He's got hair.
I know, but I don't know, they make him have like a nice, like a knobhead haircut.
Yeah.
Not like just like buzz cut or whatever. Is that anything?
I like them all. I like it all.
And we've got you a wardrobe. We've got what they called, like a fashion manager or whatever, an image consultant.
Yes.
We've got you an image consultant. And it's like, I don't know, Marseille and Mansoir or something. Yeah. Anything? I don't know, not 2 more members of the Don Callis family. That's what it is, baby. Anyway. Yeah, the Elite are reuniting. Spoilers. Do you want to talk about Mercedes?
Moné.
Winning another title. She's got 14, she's got 13, and you're lucky for that, right? Not having this interim bollocks stuff going on. But yeah, Mercedes versus Kris Statlander for the AEW Women's World Championship to take her to 14 belts, Moné.
Yeah. 4 out of 10 build.
I was going to say 6.
I don't feel any hatred between them. I don't feel like this is important. And I don't know if it's an indictment of the booking or Kris Statlander. I mean, it's pretty big. We're talking Jacobs competition about Toni Storm, because, my God, she just had to stand opposite Mercedes Moné before they spoke. And it's like, that match is massive. That match is absolutely enormous. It don't feel enormous. Does it?
It feels predictable.
Even if it is predictable, it should feel special. It's a big-time title versus title match. This is a revisit of the series that, oh God, Mercedes Moné can actually do something great and not just, that's quite good, but why isn't it better? Because that's what the thing was in AEW for her for a while. I don't know if they've collisioning it in a bad go-home angle hasn't helped, but it wasn't really white hot to begin with. Doing blood and guts and anarchy in the arena is always going to affect the individual stories, I guess. But Marina Shafir came out of that match looking great. I don't know. Is sometimes the belt the crown is too heavy.
Yeah.
Sometimes people you think are going to suit it just wonderfully and don't. Is that Statlander? I've been raving about Statlander for years on this podcast. Don't get me wrong. I've said she's made other wrestlers look 10 times better than they are in the ring at certain points. She completely deserved the opportunity for all that legacy work she's put in and how much of a connection she has with the crowds. It doesn't feel like Toni Storm.
No.
This match doesn't feel that important. Has it been even that well booked? Really?
I'll tell you, we got off on a very bad footing when, do you remember when she was it Wrestle Dream? When she came out and was like, get out of my ring. Stat went, all right. Then she came back later and was like, actually, no, I've got a problem with this.
And then they made Statlander look like a kick on Collision again. Like, I think, you know what, the booking's actually been actively pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
I thought the final nail in the coffin, by the way, for Stat, and I agree with you, I love her as well, was Tony Khan on the media call when someone said, like, can Stat become the sort of level of a star of a Toni Storm, of a Mercedes Moné? And he said, I think she is the biggest star in the women's division. I thought, like, yeah, so she's losing the belt on Saturday then.
Or he's a wrestling promoter.
Or he's a pro.
Yeah, this doesn't really feel big. I think the stipulation is probably too big for this pairing. I think the AEW World title, I reckon if Toni Storm hadn't happened, it would be a lot better. But she's set this bar that's just simply too high. So it's not necessarily Statlander's fault. I can't really fault her individual work. Toni Storm's a much bigger star. And they're, again, doing this so soon after All in Texas feels like an error.
Yeah.
Like this, it just feels like a diminished return of a match and it doesn't feel anywhere as important as a result. Curious booking. So you think Statlander wins?
No, I think Mercedes wins.
You really?
Mercedes wins. I just thought then, because there's no way you could do a pay-per-view that's entirely Mercedes Moné's title defenses.
Because
she wrestles 14 times. Mercedes wins, and then at World's End, I've just thought of this. Doesn't really work because they're both heels. Mercedes versus Athena, because that's her running the entirety of everything. She's got all the belts from the other promotions.
That sucks.
She's got TBS, AW, ROH TV title, and ROH World title.
I think you can make the argument that from a character perspective, Mercedes Moné kind sanction being second best. And whenever like she has, a thought in her head of, God, I'm still not the best. I'm not the best. I'll take a booking in, I don't know, Little Cock, Arkansas, win their little title, add to my collection, feel good about myself. I think the story they could be telling here is that Mercedes, this build has sucked, and I'm reaching. But the idea of Mercedes Moné not being the best because she ain't the world champion, and it eats her up inside, so she goes on these little odysseys to win an easy belt. And it's like, it just looks good, but it doesn't feel good for her. And then she finally wins the big one after a face turn.
Ah. So you think Stat wins here?
Yeah.
Interesting. I feel like the reason they put the title on Stat was to put it onto Mercedes.
All right.
Not straight from Tony.
Ah.
So I think Mercedes wins, and then maybe you go back to the Tony thing. I don't think the Timeless Lovebombs win the women's tag titles, for example.
Yeah.
Well,
shall see.
It's terrible build. Not a great build. Not a terrible build. Not a great build.
Well, they made it look like a dickhead at least twice. She's your champion.
Yeah, on the night, I'll be like, I can't really call it. I'm convinced Mercedes wins.
Oh, don't hurt me.
Sacrilege Corner. I thought their original matches went at least 4 minutes too long, and I think that's a kind of a trend in the Mercedes match. I think there's always 4 minutes too long. I understand that people conflate length with quality and importance. It's kind of like just a device to try and make Mercedes Moné feel like this unique, exceptional star in the landscape. But the Riho match, Wrestle Dream, was there? Or All Out? Whichever. 4 minutes too long.
Is it Shirakawa at Wrestle Dream?
Oh, God, I think all of them. The vast majority go too long. The Storm one, perfect. Earned it, deserved it. It's not a problem exclusive to Mercedes Money by any means, but I really feel like her matches feel long. And I feel like it's self-conscious and a bit transparent.
I've been saying for a long time, length doesn't always equal quality.
No, same.
It's what you do with it, I think, matters most.
Yeah.
Steel cage match. The AEW
4
World
out of 10, 5 out of 10, whatever.
AEW World Championship. Hangman Adam Page versus Samoa Joe.
Adam Page versus Samoan Kane. It's this.
Wow.
This, like, Samoa Joe is meant to be the reliable, credible aura guy who can just plug in to a main event, like, with total and utter seamless at your convenience. There's always Money in the Banana Stand. There's always Samoa Joe to plug in at the main event. He is an emergency break glass or just at your leisure. Book Samoa Joe because, and this is true, he can convince you he is the most terrifying proposition in wrestling by opening his mouth for 10 seconds. Okay. Why don't I believe this Hangman Page Joe stuff? Is it the run through the gauntlet? We've been here 6 years. Spread booking? Is it the tone in? It's fallen on Halloween, so you've had Tony Schiavone plays the trick alongside Hangman Page on Samoa Joe. So that felt like a bit of a non-canon week, but it actually became part of the storyline. Samoa Joe just enjoyed being heel so much, and there's a sort of a funny element to it with, the Powerhouse Hobbs loves those women in.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah.
And, he was funny on commentary. Shibata. Hangman Page's promo was funnier than it was effective, I think, on Dynamite. Entertaining.
Send him to the Dick Surgeon.
Going to send him to the Dick Surgeon. And, you can always have a little bit. I mean, Christ almighty. Ric Flair was funny. The Rock was funny. Steve Austin was funny. Hangman Page is allowed to be funny. And that just feels like it's when they start buying time, these wrestling promotions, where I'm like, you know what? Piss off. They bought time, ultimately, at Wrestle Dream. Or All Out. Whatever was it? It was Wrestle Dream.
Yeah.
What did Page do at All Out? Fletcher. Yeah. A Wrestle Dream. They bought time. They had a little match. And granted, it wasn't the main event, was it?
I think so. Let me double check.
Because Darby Mox was the main event.
Of course, yeah.
So they had the match. Granted, it wasn't the main event. It would have been a bit more egregious if it were. But they just bought some time. Oh, yeah, they gave you a finish. But like almost immediately afterwards, Joe, there was no consequence. Though I suppose it was he turned heel, but and it just feels like they're buying time at the end of the year. And maybe there's a concession of, yeah, that's what we're doing. We'll just make it a bit more entertaining. Hangman can be funny. Joe can be funny. We'll give you a cage, even though we'll just give you 2 cage matches 2 weeks prior to it. I don't know. It's not Eddie Moxley. It's not Eddie Punk. It's not Punk MJF. It's nowhere near that tier of
Hangman Swerve in the cage.
It's not Hangman Swerve in the cage. It's not that. It is not Ospreay, Hangman, all the marbles. One of us is going to the biggest show of the year. I would say that Hangman, Ospreay, not life affirming, not best in company history, the tier below.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't that. It's just there for me. It's just there.
I'd say after Darby Pack's the most predictable match on this card.
Oh, yeah.
Result-wise.
Yeah.
Having said that, I think short but sweet, like you say. I think that's what the match you need to have with Joe.
But they never grasp that. Look, Hangman Page doesn't lie. If he's trying to, like, let you know, which he did in his Dynamite promo, if he's trying to allow your mind to drift back to the Swerve Cage match, that was an inspired line because it's made me think, Christ almighty, this could be disgusting. Then.
Double juicer.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to happen.
Could and should be disgusting. The best version of this match as well is the sort of thing that I'm going to have to be like, you know what, that was they absolutely rocked it. They made me just bleed. But the whole point is I'm meant to smell the blood before I want to see it, you know?
A little something on top.
Yeah. You a little top.
Obviously, Hangman Page wins. Yep. Double juicer. Big gusher everywhere. Obviously, no Hobbs, no Shibata. So Joe just goes, I'll just slice you to pieces then. Hangman Page wins. Thank God for that. Eh? That's all over. MJF comes out at the end. Says, I'll see you a week on Wednesday. Don't do it Wednesday, A, because it's not enough time with the contract negotiations, but also, isn't it Thanksgiving next week, which is like a weird ratings thing.
Yeah.
But in just the words of the man who runs this company, in fact, 1 second. In just over
9 days,
I'll be relieving you of that world title, and he signs it in Hangman's blood or whatever. Because we've got to get this contract out of the way. We need MJF back.
Yeah.
Hope more than expectation, that. But if you're going to do it, when he's just gone through that insane match with Hobbs, where he's already patched up on Wednesday, he's already had, rippers with Carl Fletcher. They haven't quite told the Orange Cassidy story of like, oh God, he's coming in bloody tape all over the place. But gone through that. He's just fought Samoa Joe. MJF knows what it's like to fight Samoa Joe for a world title. Comes in and goes, I think this will be the perfect spot, actually. Even because you've got to find a way for him to cash in, whatever you want to, execute the contract without it seeming like, well, why would you do that now? Because you've still got to wait a week.
Yeah. It's too late in the day. This podcast has come to an end pretty much. And this next thing I'm about to ask would warrant a podcast in and of itself. Do questions need to be asked about, is Hangman Page truly a champion? Yeah,
I think that's going to a lot rides on this match. I agree, because he's a great world champion. Has he been the
guy?
Yeah, exactly. We'll assess
He's
after.
So good. Why can't he do this bit?
Mm-hmm.
He is so clever and great.
And it's unfortunate because you're missing out on 3 of your biggest stars.
He would be the best ever. Best ever. I didn't really work out as champion, like ever.
Yeah.
Best ever wrestler who that was never quite where he was at. But yeah, he never does it for me as a champion.
don't hurt me.
Let us know your thoughts and predictions on Full Gear in the comment section below, or on X at WhatCulture WWE, where actually you can follow both of us. You can follow Michael Sidgwick at
M. Sidgwick.
Follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE, as I said. Make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcast from, for daily wrestling podcasts. Me and Sidgwick will be back on Monday to review Full Gear. But for now, it's been the Full Gear preview. My thanks to Michael Sidgwick. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.